This entire website was built on complete autopilot using Google's Antigravity, Google Stitch, and a new skill that loop builds everything automatically. I asked for one landing page. It gave me version 1 because it detected a 60/40 split, aligned better with my design system. And I never told it to do that. You are still the orchestrator. You write the prompt, you verify the page, you write the next prompt, but this agent is still the orchestrator. It designs, it codes, it opens up Chrome by itself, it verifies, and it moves on to the next page. And there's 0 prompts in between. I ran this for 6 pages. I had 0 manual intervention. In fact, I was making lunch while this was getting built. The setup that used to take 6 G Cloud commands and OAuth tokens now takes 30 seconds. And all you need is one API key. The agent extracted my design system from an existing project and applied it without me explaining a single color hex. And the greatest part, it is using a skill called Design.MD that reads your existing sites and builds a design rulebook the agent follows autonomously. We are at the forefront with agentic building, and I'm so pleased to be using Google's Antigravity, Google Stitch, and I'm going to show you how you're going to be building this for yourself with almost 0 intervention. I've drank my coffee, I put red light on my balls, I'm ready to go, so let's get started. The starting point for every build is going to be Stitch. So Stitch is basically a Figma AI competitor. It's going to blow them out of the water because this is still experimental from Google Labs, but it's already amazing. And what Stitch allows you to do is you can build apps or websites and you can basically wireframe them. So you can build the UI, the UX, the colors, the hex, the fonts, the font styles. It's more about the kind of front end, more so than the back end. But what's great about Stitch is that using their MCP, you can connect it into Antigravity, which is an agentic builder, and it can build all the back end, all the access, the logins, the content, everything. So effectively, you now have a superpower that can build apps and websites on complete autopilot. All you need to do is just give it some prompts. So in the prompt window here, I just asked it to basically clone an existing website that's a local spa where I live. Now, the source can be anything you want it to be. It could be one of your websites, it could be a competitor website, or it could be a website that you like the look of. That could be design, color, gradients, whatever. You're going to take that and you're going to use that as a wireframe, because this is important for the simple reason that you don't need to write a style guide. Now, you can absolutely go ahead and do that. You could update Design.MD files and skills.md files, but I'm all about reducing friction and letting my agents do all the heavy lifting. So I built this agent to reverse engineer a previous design from one of my older projects. And this is the entire nerve center. Now, it looks very complicated. I assure you that it's not. I've created a few videos on Google's Antigravity. So if you need a starting point, go back to my channel and just watch one of them. And the way this works is that the agent will locate an existing Stitch project. It's one that I'm pointing it to. So on the right hand side here, I basically just created a new folder called Stitch MCP-loop. And all of this will become very clear. Just stay with me, keep your focus. I'm gonna go step by step and you're gonna build this with me. So the first prompt is list my projects from Stitch. For you to do that, you need the MCP, but there's a problem. Now, if you go to the 3 dots at the top here and you click on MCP servers and you do a search for Stitch, believe it or not, even though both tools are owned by Google, they haven't actually natively installed the Stitch MCP inside of Antigravity, which seems a little bizarre to me because if you own the network and all the real estate that Google owns, all the digital real estate, like why would you not connect it up? It seems like a no-brainer to dominate this entire industry, which I believe they're going to do anyway. But why not make it easier? And because of that, we have one step. You only have to do it once, and we're going to manually install the Stitch MCP. But actually, you're not going to do anything. I'm going to show you how the agent is going to do it for you. So before we get started with the build, there's a couple of things that you're going to need. So log in to Stitch. It's completely free if you've got a Gmail account, and head over to your profile picture. Go to Stitch settings, and the first thing we're going to need is an API key. So create a key and then just copy it. Just copy the actual API code. The next thing you're going to need is we need to manually install the Stitch MCP. Now, this is super easy, and honestly, your agent is going to do all the heavy lifting for you. And there's a couple of ways you can install this, but the easiest one is you've got the actual cursor. If you want to use this in cursor, you can do. I'm using Antigravity, so the code that I'm going to use is this one here. And you want to copy this, but you want to paste your API key here in between the actual curly brackets or whatever these are called, quotation marks, I guess. You copy this, and then we're going to head over inside of Antigravity, and then we're going to ask the agent to install it. And all you do is go back into Antigravity inside of the agent prompts on the right hand side. You just paste it in the prompting window. Just make sure that you put in the API key, and then you tell the agent update the MCP JSON file, and it will automatically do it for you. And you can check this manually if it's worked. Obviously, the agent will tell you. The way to check manually is you go over to the 3 dots here, go on to MCP servers, click on manage MCP servers, and you can do these like through the wizard here. And you can see I've installed Firebase, Netlify, and Stripe. But the one I want to show you is Stitch. And as long as you see it here enabled with everything that's enabled with create project, get project, list project, etc., just make sure all of this is configured, toggled on. So now that we have the anti-gravity agent connected to the Stitch through MCP, the next thing we want to do is download some Stitch skills. So you can see here that I've got the GitHub, and I'll leave the links in the video description so you can go ahead and install this inside of your agent. But there's a few cool things that have been released where we can make the agent smarter by looping skills. So there's a ton of stuff in here. The main ones are Design.MD and Stitch Loop. If you include Remotion, which I cover on another video. This is a great skill, by the way. Now, the way to do this is you can actually get the URL of GitHub and you can just pull the repositories into the agent, or you can run these commands. So you can run this one and just grab this, and then you just go back into Antigravity, into the agent prompt, and just run it. The same is true for this. Now, this command will tell agent inside of Antigravity what it needs to do. You don't need to explain it with a prompt. And these are terminal commands. That's why it looks a little bit funny, but the machine, the language model will understand this. So the first thing I want to do is update the Design.MD skill and analyze the spa homepage, because that's the template I'm going to be using. So imagine I'm building websites for spas, and I know I've got a winning formula. Well, that winning formula can sit inside of Stitch, and you could use Antigravity to connect to that. And then the Design-MD skill file is basically like a template. It's a blueprint. So then your Antigravity agent will just go back, use this blueprint, and you just keep building. It'll build as long as you want to build. And so it knows it needs to do that. And then so here it's search for the Design-MD file, which should have been installed if you've done the previous GitHub implementation. It's search for the skill.md, and basically MD just means markdown. This is the format they use in this agentic space, and they're just files. Like you can go inside of them. So I can show you this one here, which is Design.md, and effectively it's just a design system documentation, right? So this is for my example of spas. You can do this for any business, any industry, any website. It's got core concepts, keywords, visual layout, themes, if it has tables, if it has charts, what are the hex colors, what are the fonts, what font am I using, what sizes, shapes, borders, padding, everything that builds and maintains the website, you've got inside of this Design.md file. And this is a secret sauce. This is how you leverage AI agents, agentic builders to basically scale infinitely, because you give it skills and your agent can always learn more skills. All you gotta do is just feed it. There's another one for site.md. So this gives me the layout. So I've got a vision, I've got a sitemap, I've got a roadmap, and basically how it's gonna use this site.md file and build future websites. It's basically like a checklist. So now it's edited the Design.md file, and it's basically analyzed my spa source website, and it's generated the file. So I basically updated everything inside of the MD file that I can use in this project or future projects. And it'll give me some system highlights. You can go through that, but it tells you if you go inside of the Design.md file, it'll tell you exactly how it's building every single website that uses this. So let me switch over to Agent Manager. It's just easier for me to show you inside of here because I've got a full screen with all the prompting. So we've got to the design system highlights. It knows what it needs to do. Then the next prompt is going to be it. And this is the only prompt I'm going to build, I'm going to create to basically tell the agent what I want it to do. From this point onwards, the agent is just going to go ahead. It's going to use its skills that I've created and told it to build, and it's just going to go ahead and do it. So I want you to use the Stitch Loop skill. First, read the skill MD file located in your skills folder for the Stitch Loop. Then follow the instructions in that skill exactly to build a single landing page. Now, the beauty of the Stitch skill loop, if I can say it, is a bit of a tongue twister, is that it's basically agentic speak for iteration. It'll build something, or it'll design something, it'll build it, it'll implement it, and then it'll test it. And then it just keeps going round and round in that loop. So if, for example, there are some errors, and I did see them, I did experience errors, and I'll show you further down in the prompting. This skills loop will just go back, iterate, test, iterate, keep building, keep fixing, keep debugging until you have the final output. You don't have to do any of this. We're going to use the Stitch MCP to generate the UI because that's connected to Stitch through the MCP from Antigravity. And then we're going to use the Chrome DevTools MCP to verify that the page works. Now, this is the most incredible part of all this. So because Google owns Chrome, it can actually open up a Chrome extension / browser, and it can test everything. And this browser is integrated inside of Antigravity. So it basically does all the debugging for you on complete autopilot. It's absolutely insane. And for this example, I just wanted one page to keep it simple. So it searched Stitch Loop, it's found the skill.md file, it's now analyzed it, and it's implementing it. So it's now running the commands. You can see that it's edited the Stitch JSON, the site.md, the next prompt file. And again, this is all agentic, right? I haven't done any of this. This is all my agent that's doing this. And then it's going to navigate to this URL, play it back. So it's going to test it all by itself in almost like a virtual kind kind of browser environment. It's only virtual because it's running on my machine, but it's virtual to Antigravity, right? Because this is doing it all inside of basically machine code. It's doing it all inside the system. It's going to fetch HTML via JS, and then it's basically going to prompt it to do all this. It's running commands, it's verifying index pages, it's editing files. So this is recursive, right? Like I haven't asked it to do this. It's going back into the files, the site MD, next prompt MD, design MD, and automatically updating it. And this is learning. This is like AI learning, right? Which is effectively what AGI should be, because it's not based or built on trained data, right? You don't give it data, it trains on it, it learns. This can go out there and learn by itself, right? It's not built on any training data. So we are actually on the forefront of AGI. And so after a while, we tested it, it failed, there was some URL error, 404 errors. It opened up the browser, it tested it, retested it, implemented changes, updated the MD files, and basically built the website that I just showed you. Now you can go a step further. You can build out the content. You can build out more than one page. The world is truly your oyster here. And that's what I love about Antigravity, because it doesn't just assume success. If you've used other agentic builders, it'll tell you that's done, right? Whatever you prompt it is done. But it hasn't actually tested it. Because it can activate Chrome as a verification layer within the loop skill, you know for a fact with 100% certainty that whatever you ask it to build, Antigravity is going to come back with a 100% success rate. And remember, if it doesn't know, it can always update the MD files. It can update the design, it can update the skills, it can learn new skills. This is truly revolutionary. We basically have AI agents. We can make them smarter, we can make them faster, better, we can extend their memory. And honestly, I'm scared to think about what's going to happen to all my agents in a year's time, because I've seen the future and I know where we're heading. So you are no longer the orchestrator, the agent is, and you define the vision. And I believe this is the future of AI. We don't need to do the heavy lifting. We don't need to do the grunt work. We can build agents. We can build agentic systems to do it for us. And that's the beauty of where we are today. This agent built the site, it verifies the pages, and it makes the layout calls. And you can sit back, just watch it do its thing, and get on with doing what you're good at. That could be marketing, that could be sales, creativity, building a vision, building your business, whatever it is. Because I'm telling you, I'm going to use these to build an army of agents that are going to control everything that I do. They're going to run my entire agency. And I'm not going to be sat back with my feet up. I'm going to be building bigger visions, bigger goals, and I'm here to take over. So thank you for watching this video. I'm super pumped up. I'm very excited with where this is going. If you got exceptional value from this, which I think you did, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. If you enjoyed this tutorial, click on the next video on screen, watch that. And before you go, say it with me, something magical is going to happen today. Get Google Antigravity installed, connect it up to Google Stitch, go out there, build websites, build apps, clone existing apps, clone existing websites, cancel your subscriptions, save the money, and I'll see you next time.